Oh yeah, she's coming. And it is an absolute huge fucking mess. Good morning. I say good morning. Well, it's morning. It's 10 a.m. I had a bit of a lie today because I had friends over last night. We were yapping to the early hours. So I didn't get much sleep, but it's another glorious Saturday morning in London. I'm in my blue DIY boiler suit and I'm ready for another day in the bedrooms, renovating to my heart's content, but doing things a little bit differently today. So if you're new here, welcome. I'm Sharn and I am 30-something woman in London renovating a Victorian wreck of a house. As you can see, there's a lot to do. So welcome, you joined at a great time. And we are now in what will be our main bedroom, our primary bedroom, which, yeah, looks like this at the moment. No comment. And then through the non-existent wall is our spare bedroom, which isn't going to be a spare room anymore. I've got a whole vlog on that and what this space is going to become. So go and have a watch, please. Like and subscribe. And there's so much work to do in here still. So this is what I should be attempting today, is to get all the wallpaper off these walls, off of these walls. But because of the very unstable, see if I can show you, plaster situation in here, I don't want to get into dusty territory today. I'm by myself all day. My partner's out, he's got hockey practice and he's out with friends. So I want to do that when I've got support, when I've got backup, because I think I pretty much know that all the plaster is going to have to come off those walls. It'll create a lot of dust, a lot of rubble bags, blah, 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 mess. So I want to attempt that when it's not just me by myself. So that's probably next weekend. So instead, I've decided to crack on. Well, I was going to have a little weekend off. I was like, maybe I won't do anything this weekend. I'll have some time to myself. Wouldn't that be nice? Then obviously, because my head's like, get ahead, be productive or you failed. It's another discussion for another time. But said in here, I thought about cracking on with something I haven't actually spoken about yet. So you might be surprised that I'm doing this today, but I feel like now is the right time. I've got the day to do it, and it's going to be a horrible job. I don't want to do it, but I've got to. So now is as good a time as any, you know. Over the last few weekends, obviously we've taken down the walls. We've got all the wallpaper off these walls. We've got all the plaster that was underneath the wallpaper off these walls because it was crumbling. It was a lost cause. We've got all of that down. We've still got all the rubble sacks of rubbish that need to go. Yes, I need to take those down, but again, not a one-person job. That's a next weekend job, I think. And then we got all the wallpaper off the ceiling, which I'm sure you would have seen in my previous vlog. That was the pits. That was the absolute pits. Go and watch that vlog, because my Lord, I've never lost my mind as much doing something as I have that. And that is evidenced in the video. There's a whole part where I'm just like running around the room like, just like absolutely fucking losing it. So yeah, entertaining. So instead, so now that that's all done, in here today, one thing I've got to do, well, one thing I discovered while I was stripping ceiling wallpaper is that the paint is peeling off the coving. So this is original Victorian coving. Our house is, I think, 1890, so it's like over 130 years old. So this stuff, I believe, has been here for over 130 years, which is amazing. And like the shape of it, you can see, obviously, it's not giving the aesthetic at the moment with the fireplace, but you can sort of see how great the shape of it is around the fireplace, how gorgeous it's going to look when it's like all tarted up, painted and decorated. But at the moment, it is an absolute huge fucking mess. It is covered in paint that's like flaking off. It's cracked. Let me see if I can show you some of the cracks. Don't know how we're about to see that on this Zoom, but up here, there's lots of long cracks. Anyway, I'll show you them up close. And same on the other side of the room. There's lots of cracks, like down the, I don't know if you can see that, down the centre. So it needs a lot of repair work. And I was going to get someone to repair it properly, but then I was like, that's also money that I don't have. So guess who's doing it? Little old me. So today I've got some paint stripper, I've got some filler. I'm going to see how easy it is to strip all the paint off this coving and get it filled. And can I do that in a day? Praying, hoping, manifesting we can, because I don't want to be spending 3 weekends on this. I just want to get it done in one day, please. So I'm going to give it a go today and see how far I get. And let me show you what I'm going to be using for this task. So I bought some new things, stuff I haven't used before. So I'm going to see how it holds up and just pray to the Reno gods that it's a successful mission. The kit I'm using for the occasion today, lots of bits and bobs, but not too spenny, not too much money to spend on this project. The most expensive part, I think, was this paint varnish remover. About 20 odd quid a tub. This is one I got on Amazon. It is by Home Strip, and I chose this one because the plaster up there, I don't know what kind of plaster it is. If it's original, it might be a bit delicate, and this is like a really gentle one, solvent free. It's an eco paint stripper, and it just has no stuff in it that could burn through that plaster, so it's water based, so it's a way more gentle stripper. So it might take a bit longer, but here I'm obviously very interested in preserving the integrity of the plaster up there. I don't want to like burn it through with acid and ruin it. So I'm going to try this one out. I've never used it before, so let's see how that goes. And then I got this on Amazon as well. I got this scraper multi-tool. I've used these for paint stripping, and that little pointed edge is really good for like getting in the corners, because obviously the coving is quite ornate and it's got quite a lot of ridges and stuff, so I needed something that had lots of little corners that I could scrape stuff off with. So these are really good versus like a normal like flat filled in scraping tool. Just got some old paint brushes that I had downstairs that obviously are not in the best nick, but I'm only using paint strip with them, so I'm using these rather than my good brushes. Then I'm going to try and do some filling afterwards with this just standard all-purpose filler that had good reviews by Everbuild. I've used obviously a lot of their stuff before, and it is always really good. It really holds up, so I'm sure this will be good. And I wanted something that wouldn't just like sink into cracks and disappear, and this is meant to be really good at filling. Heavy duty, that's what we want, because these cracks, they are big. Then I also bought some of the scourers, metal scourers, because when I've done paint stripping before, like on wood and stuff, they've recommended using like scourers to help like really get any flakes of paint off. So I've got a pack of these that I got on Amazon in the same order, just if there's any stubborn bits. It's kind of like exfoliating, but for your walls or for your coving. So we're going to exfoliate the hell out of this coving. And then I bought some flexible filling knives. So I've never used things like this before, but the coving is curved and it's got ridges and edges and corners. So I wanted like filling knives that obviously had that flexibility where I could reach to those small spaces, rather than like normal filling knives you use are quite solid and not super bendable. So these I'm going to give a go, and obviously they haven't got the long handle either, so you can kind of get in there a bit easier and maneuver in the small areas a bit better. So here we go. I'm going to try a bit of this, get this open and test her out and see how we get on. Okay, so I'm going to start in one of the corners, just like put a little test bit of paint stripper on. It is like, it's very gooey consistency. It's quite thick. I'm just using an old brush just to get a little bit on there. You can see the consistency of it. It's kind of like, you know, like a thick moisturizer, I guess. But it's not drippy, which is good. So let's get this on the coving and see how we get on. Now we're up here and close. You can see the extent of the cracks. Some in the ceiling, but they kind of travel through the coving. So I want to get the paint off so I can get under there and get those filled. Yeah, a few cracks that go through like the plaster, but nothing too major, like all repairable, because the rest of the ceiling is absolutely fine. Just, you know, looking a bit ratty, but other than that, she's really stable. So I'm getting the paint off just so I can get in and obviously make it look better, because it's just so cracked and in so many areas. Like she's not doing well. I couldn't just like leave it in this state and paint over it. So sometimes you've got to make it worse before it gets better. Let's get this paint stripper on. Put it on in quite a thick layer. I'm just going to try this patch for now and just see what starts to happen. Get that right on in there. Hopefully this paint will start to lift fairly quickly. Let's see. Get right on those edges as well. Get rid of this paint. Okay, let's leave that and see where we get with that in like a few minutes. So I'm not sure what kind of paint I've got on that coving. It's not a varnish, shellac or polish, French polish. It's not lacquers or polyurethane. Multi-layered paint could be. I think it's just like an emulsion, just like a white wall paint, maybe vinyl. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not really sure how long I should leave it on for. So I'm just going to leave it for at least half an hour and see where we get to. It should start sort of like bubbling up by then, and showing that the paint is stripping off. So let's see where we get to with that. Okay, granted it's only been on for about 20 odd minutes or so. I just want to see if we are getting anything close to like, oh, like actual stripping. I think we might be. Hey, I think it is helping. It's clearly a top layer. It's clearly a top layer of white. Oh yeah, satisfying. And like this slightly like creamier layer of paint underneath. So I might have to go over some patches to really penetrate into that. But otherwise, I think we are starting to soften. A great sign. So I'm going to crack on and apply to the rest of the coving. So I think we're good to go now. And then it's just making my way around and doing all that scraping. Fun! Right, because I'm impatient as hell, I'm going to crack on and get the stripper on all of this, because it doesn't seem to be burning a hole in the wall, which is good. So I'm trusting it's safe. I'm going to crack on. But obviously, if you do it yourself and you're unsure, please do a test patch if you don't know what kind of material you're working with, what kind of paint you're working with, and what your finish could be. So I've used a lot of paint strippers before. I kind of know how they react. I'm confident this one hasn't done any damage yet, so I am just going to crack on. Okay, reflective moment. This is going to take longer than I thought to apply, so I really hope it works. Obviously, you've just got to get in like every little nook and cranny and edge and corner and curve. It is just a manual process, so my arm is kind of aching already from having to reach up there and paint it all on, but here we are. Needs must. All the best. Well, I can tell you this paint stripper is working in at least some regard, because it is taking the paint off my paintbrush. It's a wooden handle paintbrush that's been painted black, and that is coming off. So the stripper is working. So kids, top tip, if you're using this paint stripper or any paint stripper, don't use a painted wooden handle paintbrush. Use a plastic one or something that's not going to get ruined by this process. So you can see up here, there's already some areas where the paint is so cracked and flaky. So I'm expecting those areas to be easier to sort of come off and lift. And I'm nearly, see where it's darker there? That's where I started, probably best part of 40 minutes ago. So I'm about to join up the stripper. God, you can see just how bad a nick this paint is in. There's no way it's ever been painted over, ever. I'm really glad I've started doing this now, because now I'm up here close to it, you can see just how bad condition it is. how poorly it has been treated over the years. So here's the last dip. Get her in there, and as you can see, I've probably used about 2/3 of the tub on this. And this is a 2 litre tub. So if you're doing a bigger project, you're going to need a lot more. Okay, I'll have to keep the camera still while I'm doing this. I think, are joint. I think we are anyway. We've got that in on there. It is coated. Oh, you can see. Don't know if you can really see, but in the areas here where I applied, like, 45 minutes ago, it's dark. It's sort of sagging a bit. The paint is going to peel off quite easily there, I think. I hope anyway. Sending that energy out into the world. Please peel off easily. And got all this to peel off. All of this. And all of this. Wish me luck. I'm going to get this cleaned up. Gonna get myself a scraper, get myself the scourers, and start doing the first scrape off and see how it goes. I really, really, really pray I just have to do the one coat. I don't want to do more. I don't want to do it all again. But if I have to, I have to. But fingers crossed, the Reno gods are working in my favour today. I'm about to start scraping off, and I've actually seen instructions, as I mentioned earlier, say use a scraper, or ideally use a stainless steel scouring ball, which is what I've got here. So I'm going to crack on and see if that works. I'm also going to go in with this scraper as well. So I've got 2 options for scraping off and see which works better. The stripper has been on for about an hour now, maybe more, so it should be ready to come straight off. Oh, we've got a visitor. Sir, welcome. Atlas always comes in at the most opportune times to say hello. Hello, sir, you all right? Nothing to see here, just paint stripping. What do you want? Oh, my beautiful boy. Sticking the lips. He's just too cute. He is too cute. Anyway, back to what we're up to. Paint stripping. Let's get this off. Oh, yeah. She's coming. Good news is, stripper does seem to have worked. I do feel like, though, we're going to be here a long old time. The emulsion has gone quite soft and gooey, which is good. You can see in many areas it is sort of just scraping off fairly easily. I'm not showing this very well, am I? Oh, but I don't think it's going to be an easy job. I feel like we are going to be here all day. I feel like it's going to come off, but it's just going to take a lot of time. Let's try a little bit over here. Yeah, so you can see there's like a top layer that's coming off. On there it's quite soft. It's quite a tough paint. But it is kind of flaking. Oh, that's a nice bit of it that's come off at once. So yeah, I think it's going to be a mixed bag. And I'm not, to be honest, I'm not looking for like perfectly clean. I just want it to be smooth enough that it can be filled and repaired and painted. So it doesn't need to be, perfect under there. It just needs to be good enough. So I'm hoping it's one coat of paint stripper paired with this scraper will give me that level of good enough that I'm looking for. So I'm going to get on with this and see how long it takes. It is now 11:55. So let's see how many hours I've got to put in for all of this. See you on the other side, girlies. I'm ashamed to say, I'm admitting defeat. I have been going at it for half an hour now. So I started at like 11:55, now 12:24, half an hour, and I'm getting nowhere with it. I don't blame the paint stripper. I think the paint stripper is good. I just think that I need something more heavy duty for what's going on up there. I kind of underestimated, classic, underestimated how much I had to cover and how hard it would be to scrape it all off, especially using a paint stripper that is like more gentle and not like a harsh burny boy. So it is just lifting the top layer a bit, which is great. It's doing its job, but like I need something that's going to penetrate deep and really burn it off. So I think I need to go back to the drawing board. I think I need to get myself a much more heavy duty paint remover, paint stripper, and go at it again. So yeah, it is a crying shame, had to give up in there, but like efficiency wise, it's really just not worth cracking on with something and carrying on with something and persevering with something that is just going to zap me of so much time. Like that in there could have taken me best part of 6 hours to continue with today, and I know it wouldn't have been finished, and then it bleeds into another day, and I don't want to spend 2 days of my life doing one fairly small job in the grand scheme of the room. I don't want to spend my life doing 2 days of that when I can just go away and buy something that will do the work for me, and then I'll just be able to peel it off or scrape it off a lot easier. So I'm going to go and research some sort of peelable overnight paint strippers, which I have used before. I've used Peel Away, I've used Clean Strips. I'm going to go and see what's like best priced, what could work on coving, give that a go. But for now, I'm holding this because I've decided to pivot approach, and I'm going to crack on in here. So I don't want to waste the day completely, even though it's going to wash out, but it is 12:30. I've still got time to get things done. So I've decided to move into this room. I've plugged in the wallpaper steamer. You can see where this is going. And I'm going to try and get the wallpaper off of this wall here. Then at least today I've achieved something in the sense of I've done something that will move the renovation forward, that is progress for us. So next weekend, that's done. We haven't got to touch that. I don't really want to get into the fireplace wall where the plaster is so unstable. I've shown you before, it's like crumbling. It's just, yeah, it's probably just as bad as next door when we had to pivot from taking off wallpaper to taking off the wall, which wasn't fun. It's a whole dusty mess, so I'm not prepared for that dusty mess quite today, and I'm by myself, so I don't really want to do like all the rubble bags and moving of sacks of stuff by myself. I want to wait till I've got backup, which is next weekend. But for now, I'm going to do what I can, and in the grand scheme of the reno, something that's quite a simple job, we're just getting wallpaper off of these walls. I pray to the reno gods that it is easy and the walls are stable and there is no crumbling plaster under here. Please, please, please. I don't want to get into dusty, messy territory. I just want an hour or so of scraping wallpaper, of tidying up, of getting stuff in order. And then I might even have time to just sit down, open my laptop and play Sims for like 3 hours. That's what I really want to do. Build a fake house, not a real one. I will stop boring you and I will get on with this now. Get her boiling and get that paper down. Get this scored. This is quite a nice wallpaper removal experience compared to what we've had so far. I'm not hating this. It's coming off fairly easily. Like, it's not leaving lots of residue on the wall. The wall underneath is quite smooth, so I'm not mad. I'm not mad at this at all. It's a real pivot from this morning, trying to get that coving off, well, and the early afternoon. Then to move on to this, which is quite simple, is quite satisfying and nice. So I feel like this was a good choice. The coving stripping, not so much. Okay, I've just run downstairs because another day, another Greg's. It's lunchtime. I'm starving. I very nearly got a McDonald's because I'm in that like, I'm knackered today. Didn't get a lot of sleep. Was up late, so I'm in that like mindset of like, not that I feel a bit hungover, but I just feel a bit like grotty and dusty. So I was like, oh, junk food is what I need. But I still got a Greg's. I didn't go for like the full burger and chips treatment. And of course, I got the usual. Yes. What's in the bag today? Oh, that took me by surprise. I wasn't expecting a box. I've gone for the chicken bake, golden boy. And then I got, today instead of a donut, a pack of 2 Yum Yums. Yummy, I love Yum Yums. Try not to eat both at once. And of course, my favourite, cherry Coke. I'm a bit of a fizzy drink fanatic. Like, I'll try any fizzy drink, but especially anything that's cola based. So cherry Coke is one of my favourites. Actually, cherry Pepsi Max. Pepsi Max cherry is elite. They don't have that, so it's cherry Coke for today. Time to munch. Also, while I'm downstairs in the hallway, I thought I'd show another little reno gem that's arrived. This is our bed. We've already bought our bed for our room, and you've seen the state of it up here. Who do we think we are ordering a fucking bed? Anyway, this is from Dusk. I've heard nothing but good reviews of them, so I'm praying this bed is a good one. But we only bought it because it was on like a mega sale. So it's down from like, I think nearly like £600 down to like 275. So we were like, we're not missing out on this sale. So we bought the bed. It's like a rust colour headboard and base, and it's like a storage ottoman one as well. So it's really super practical, super pretty, but also such a bargain. So we couldn't not. So I don't really know where to put that. That's going to live here for the foreseeable, I think. It's really heavy, so I can't carry it upstairs. So that's going to be here basically for 6 months. All the best. Anyway, let's get back upstairs and back to the bedroom, to the wallpaper. That is done, and it actually went so much better than I thought it would. It was way smoother. It was so much easier to get the paper off in here than it was next door, for example. Paper in here hadn't been painted over. Oh, let me actually, hello world. It hadn't been painted over, so it was way easier to lift. It still took me loads of time. It took me, I don't know, I had a lunch break in the middle, hour and a half, but it came off, it lifted way easier. It was less of a struggle to get it off. But obviously high ceilings, intricate bits around the window, just took time, but we got there. It's done. I also braved it and went around the corner here to this side of the fireplace. I was going to continue onto the actual chimney breast, but I decided not to, just because I don't think it's worth trying to get the wallpaper off, and then ultimately this is so unstable that's probably going to spread and end up taking off loads of plaster. So I just went round this little corner here and this wall over here. So that's done. Today wasn't a complete washout. It wasn't a complete waste of my time. I'll take the L on the coving paint stripping. Like, we'll come back to that another day. It's not crucial at this part of the renovation. It was just like, while I had time, it's good to do it. But at least now we've learned a lesson. We know that you need to go in hard with a paint stripper when you're dealing with old paint on old plaster work like that. We live and we learn. Every day's a school day. But yes, I'm going to finish up in here now. I'm going to clear up my mess that's all on the floor. Neil came in briefly and helped. He like popped home. He's literally going back out with his friends now. So he came and helped sweep up a little bit, but now he's out again. So now it's over to me to get this cleared up, get the room sort of organised again and leave it alone. I'm going to pick this up next week when we're back on this, taking this out. We want to take skirting boards out. We want to take the fireplace in there out, the hearth in there out. So we want to get loads done next week. So it's a real like 2-person blitz it, put your full puss into it next week. I'm going to go sleep for the evening. I might actually have a shower, be like an absolute goblin and doom scroll for an hour, and then I might play Sims 4 all evening. That's what I want to do. I haven't done it in months, so I think I might just like have an absolute goblin night on the sofa and play Sims and do nothing and eat loads. Have a good week. I'll see you then.